Welcome back. Good news for women interested in joining the state firefighting force. Home Minister Ravi Naik has announced formation of a Women Firefighters Wing in Directorate of Fire and Emergency Services. He was speaking at the function organized to commemorate National Fire Service Day.
State observed National Fire Service Day on Wednesday at the Directorate of Fire and Emergency Service. Home Minister Ravi Naik paid homage to the martyrs of fire services. Ravi also announced formations of a new women firefighter wing within the directorate.
फाल्यां अशें कोणी विरोध आरोप करपाचो आसा आपल्या घट जाल्ले म्हणून म्हण ते सुद्दां जेवणाचेर येवपाक जायना तेका लागून आमी त्या बायलांचे जे आसा जे कडेन हे आसा उजरावलो कितें आसा बिल्डिंगांनी करून इंडस्ट्रियल हितूनी बायलो चाल चोली काम करतात सगळे कडेन आयज चोली आसा बायलो आसा सगळे कडेन तेका लागून बायलांचे एक थोडे विंग आमकां प्रत्येक कडेन तालुक्यांनी जाय आणि त्या प्रमाणे आमी ते प्रपोजल आमी डायरेक्टर सांगला की ते प्रपोजल सुद्दां तयार कर बेगीच्या बेगीन की आमकां तेजी गरज आसा.
Directorate of Fire and Emergency Services completed 26 years in public service. There are around 14 fire stations across the state and 3 are in the pipeline. Director of Fire Services Ashok Menon demanded approval of 13 months pay for fire force.
The firefighters are available 24/7. Thus, a proposal has been sent to the government also to approve 13 months pay as the same is done in Delhi Fire Service. So this is one of the grievances of the fire service personnel to have a 13 months pay, and we have already sent to the government. I am sure our Honorable Home Minister will ensure that this is also passed during his time.
Home Minister also presented certificates for fire force personnel for their outstanding performance. Our principal correspondent Murari Shetty with video journalist Sunny Narvikar for Prudent Media.
Owners and editors at national level do not encourage investigative journalism. This was an opinion of Director of International Center Nandini Sahai. An interactive session on investigative journalism, emerging challenges with facts and reporting was held at Dona Paula on Wednesday.
This was organized by the International Center Goa and Goa Union of Journalists in association with American Center Mumbai. Information Officer of American Center Robin Remaika, President of Goa Union Journalist Prakash Kamath, Editor-in-Chief of Prudent Media Sandesh Prabhudesai participated in this session. Director of the International Center Goa Nandini Sahai, while interacting with media persons, said owners and editors at national level do not encourage investigative journalism.
Many journalists may have the aptitude and skills for investigative journalism, but their owners and editors do not have the will, even if they have the resources to encourage them. The owners and the editors too have multiple vested interests in political parties, individual leaders, corporate bodies, and so on. So most of the time, this kind of journalism turns out to be keyhole journalism.
Editor-in-Chief of Prudent Media Sandesh Prabhudesai criticized journalists for narrow-minded attitude.
The minute one newspaper brings a story, it ceases to be a public issue. And it becomes property of that newspaper. And when there are lots of pressures from all sides, if there are politicians involved, the political pressures, if there are businessmen involved and business pressures, all kind of pressures, bureaucratic pressures and everything, all kind of pressures come. That time the newspapers don't go to help them. It ceases to be a public issue also. It becomes one newspaper's lone battle. It is that kind of mentality which is nowadays become rampant in journalism. So this untouchability has become, you don't find untouchability in Goa. So everybody was saying that Goa is such a nice place that you don't even find untouchability. Our journalist found it funny. He said, "What is this? No, there has to be untouchability." So journalists decided that, okay, we will practice untouchability.
A reporter from Panji, Devidas Kamli, with video journalist Shahanawaz Mayadi.
Chikli Villages Action Committee has demanded Forest Minister Philip Neri Rodriguez intervention to protect the window pane oysters in Chikli Bay. Earlier, NIO in its report has pointed out that the water body is facing threat and could cause irreversible damage.
The Chikli Villages Action Committee representing the villagers of Chikli has been striving hard to save this precious biological resource for last 2 years. Referring to NIO's report, Chikle villagers demanded Forest Minister's intervention to protect window pane oysters and rich array of marine fauna associated with the Chikle Bay. They say Minister can intervene under the Wildlife Protection Act 1972.
So we approached the Honorable Minister for Forest, Shri Philip Nerji, and he was very kind enough to forward this document to his additional principal Chief Conservator of Forest, Dr. Shashi Kumar Saab, and he's given us 15 days time frame that he would get back to us with inputs from his additional PCCF, and we are optimistic. We are waiting for his kind intervention. We pray that the Forest Ministry takes cognizance of the scheduled status of this window pane oyster vis-a-vis the Wildlife Protection Act 1972, and they should intervene with urgency. On top priority, the bay should be recognized as a statutorily as a breeding habitat of a scheduled species. And I think once that is done, the rest would follow.
Chikle Villagers Action Committee also demanded that the Chikle Bay should be declared as an ecologically sensitive water body to protect and preserve the same for posterity.
Some prospects for generating livelihoods for the locals who are at the moment into an open access fishery. So they, sort of prospect less and damage more. We are not against allowing them an access to the fishery, provided they are recognizing the fact that we have limited stocks and we should not interfere with the renewal dynamics. Point number 2 is most of these shellfishes are filter feeders and deposit feeders. So the chances that these heavy metals which are present in the water or in the sediments getting transferred, getting bioaccumulated, and more importantly getting biomagnified is very serious. So in the long run, if we continue to allow this sort of influx from the shipbuilding enterprise, all their affluents, I think we are heading for a disaster.
Our principal correspondent Murari Shetty with video journalist Sunny Narvikar for Prudent Media.
It's time for yet another short break. Stay tuned.